What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're back with another UFC predictions and picks video, or whatever it's called. This weekend, we got UFC Seattle, Adesanya versus Pyfer, a very popular main event. Adesanya, we obviously know he's a champ. He's a former champ. He's on a 3-5 losing streak right now, and Joe Pyfer is a hot up and comer. 2 finishes in his last 3. So, yeah, very interesting card up and down. I think it's going to be a finish-heavy card. But overall, the name value is not that great. But anyway, let's make our picks. Starting off the night, we actually have a rematch. Alexia Tainara versus Bruna Brazil. Now, Tainara is the heavy favorite. She's on a huge win streak. She's coming off decision against Luma Lukenbambi back in September on the Perth card. And then she had a submission over Molly McCann, and she won a decision on the Contender Series. So she's basically 3-0 under technically the TKO banner. She's looking good. She's 5'4", 67 inches, so she's a little undersized, but she trains out of a good gym. She seems to be a pretty intelligent and well put together fighter. So her opponent is Bruna Brazil. Bruna, very up and down UFC career. She's coming off a loss against Caitlin Souza last month in the Apex, and she's also, her last win was against Shi Ming, who went viral for a crazy knockout. But yeah, she just tends to be a win one, lose one kind of fighter. She's very skilled, just can never seem to put it together when she's in the octagon. Bruna Brazil did win the first fight by a first-round guillotine, but this was Alexia's debut. So I think actually Alexia's going to right the wrong, win by decision. I just don't see Bruna. I understand that she's win one, lose one. I just think Alexia has improved heavily, and I just don't think Bruna is like... I don't think she's got enough to beat somebody like Tainara. Anyway, we'll move on to the next fight at 135 pounds. Ricky Simone versus Adrian Yanez. This is actually a pretty good fight. I can't believe that they're putting it this far down the card. But whatever. This card... Timeout. I just want to say one thing. This card's placement is so weird. Like the card placement. Like I don't understand Ignacio Bahamondes being on the prelims. But they have freaking Larian Douglas and Nico Price on the main card. Now, I like Larian Douglas. Nico Price, not so much. But I don't know. The card placement on this just doesn't make much sense. But anyway, whatever. We're still going to get the fights. Ricky Simone's coming off decision loss against Raoni Barcelos. But I don't think anybody blames him for losing Barcelos because that man is on a hot streak right now. He's fighting on Seattle. He had a 2-fight win streak previous before that, knocking out Javid Brasharat, actually at UFC Seattle last year. And then beating Cameron Smotherman at UFC Atlanta. Rough decision. I feel like Ricky's going to be looking to wrestle here. That's really how Yanez lost to Marcos back at UFC Tampa. Yanez is coming off a loss. He hasn't fought since Tampa, actually. If I'm being honest, I think Ricky's going to be able to out-wrestle him. I think it's going to be close. I just feel like Yanez is really good, just never good enough to beat these really, top 20, top 25 guys. I think Simone's going to get it done by decision. Next card, Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. This is going to be a light heavyweight bout. Navajo's on a 8-fight win streak because he's 8-0. He's got 3 wins in the UFC. He's got 1 Contender Series win. Dude's kind of on fire right now. The only problem is, really the only thing you can have against him is he just isn't knocking anybody out, man. I mean, he hurt Bellato pretty good. Really hurt Urslan. And then was battering Tuco Tokos around. But he just can never seem to find the finish. He just doesn't seem to have it. I will say Bruno Lopez, this is a guy that he should finish. But will he? I'm not so sure. Just struggling to find the finish, but overall looking pretty good because he trains out of City Kickboxing in New Zealand. Bruno Lopez just got knocked out by Justin Jacoby about 10 months ago, so I don't think Bruno Lopez is going to have much to offer. His only win in the UFC is against a guy who's cut, Magomed Gadzhizulov. But, yeah, I think Navo Sterling's going to win by decision. I think it's going to look a lot like his previous fights where it's just like, man, you could finish him, just push, and he's just not. He's just going to teep at him, get the decision, whatever. Dude's moving up the ranking slowly. That's how he wants to do it. That's how he can do it. Next up, we got a 125 bout. Casey O'Neill returning after a long layoff, and Gabriela Fernandez. I'm going to be frank with y'all here. I'm going to keep it short. I don't really care for either of these girls. I think Fernandez is going to get it done. I don't think O'Neill is very good. She's submit. Actually, hold on, timeout. I think Fernandez is going to get the second round submission. I think it's going to look very similar to the Wang Tong fight. That's a win that has aged very well for Gabriela Fernandez. I think she's going to get the submission. Yeah, I don't want to talk. I really don't know much about Casey O'Neill to really be talking about this fight, but I think Gabriela Fernandez is going to get it done by submission. All right, now this is a banger. No, it's not. Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. Now, Tybura, we obviously know who this guy is. You know, he's UFC heavyweight who's been around since the dawn of time. Like, I think this dude lived with the dinosaurs. That's how long he's been in the UFC. He's coming off a loss. Got knocked out by Ante DeLija, who, let's be honest, that win hasn't aged great. Dude's gotten pieced up in his last 2 fights. But, yeah. Before that, Tybura was on a 2-fight win streak with a finish over Denise. That one hasn't aged too well. Then a win over Parkin, and that win hasn't even aged at all because Parkin literally has not fought since. But Tyrell Fortune making his UFC debut. He used to fight on Bellator. He's got good power. I just think Tybura is going to be able to, get this guy to the clinch, put him on the cage. I think it's going to look very similar to the Leha fight, except for the fact that he doesn't get chinned and he wins 29-28 split decision. This is how Tybura wins these things. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, next fight, Chase Hooper, Lance Gibson, lightweight. Let's go. This is actually a very interesting fight. And Chase Hooper's coming off his first loss at lightweight. He got TKO'd. It was pretty bad. He was looking really rough on the feet. Could not get the fight to the floor. And then Lance Gibson's coming off a split decision loss against Bobby Green last December. Rough fight. Just really couldn't touch Bobby. But I consider it a win that he was able to take King Green to a decision. So for that reason, as much as people are picking Chase Hooper, actually, hold on. I actually am pretty split on this one. Oh, man. I could see Chase getting the grappling going, submitting him pretty quickly, or just wrestling the crap out of him. But I could also see Lance Gibson absolutely piecing Chase Hooper up on the feet. I'm going to go, I don't know. This is like a coin flip to me, man. This is just one of those fights that's going to play out how it's going to play out. But I'm going to go Lance Gibson. Yeah. Lance Gibson. 3rd round, TKO, right near the horn. Comeback. Let's do it. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I went 11 for 2 on my picks last week. So, hey, if you're listening to me, I'm a pretty good predictor. So, come on. You better follow me. Anyway, we move on to an absolute banger here. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tofik Musayev. Bahamondes coming off a loss against Rafael Fiziev back in UFC Baku. He was just kind of outstruck. It was a weird fight. It wasn't super entertaining. And then Musayev is coming off a submission loss to Mitsubek Orolbai. Sorry, I couldn't remember that dude's name for a second. But I don't rate either of their losses too badly. Both those guys they lost to are honestly doing their thing. But I think Ignacio Bahamondes is going to get this fight to the floor and submit him pretty easily. I think it's going to be very competitive while it's on the feet, but I think Bahamondes is just going to take it to the ground and just get an easy submission. Anyway, I don't know why I keep saying anyway. We move on to the main card, Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. Now, Terrence McKinney, this is a dude that accidentally missed in UFC Tampa. I was so close to getting a picture, but the dude just walked away. I don't blame it on him. I didn't realize it was him until he was already leaving. But, yeah, cool dude. Seems very nice. So, I don't know why I said that. I don't know. But Terrence McKinney is coming off a submission loss against Chris Duncan where he was going great until it wasn't. Piecing him up really bad, but then I guess he kind of got tired, and Chris Duncan kind of just took over. Basically TKO'd him on the feet, and then got submitted. But before that, he was on a 2-fight winning streak. He had wins against Vyacheslav Borshev, who's outside the UFC, so that one hasn't aged great. And then before that, it was a win against Damir Hadzovic, who hasn't fought since then. Yeah, so I don't rate McKinney's last couple of wins too highly. Kyle Nelson, though, just beat Matt Frevola by decision. It should have been TKO. They stopped it. It was ridiculous. Completely TKO'd him. Before that, he had lost a TKO to Steve Mean Machine Garcia. Now, this one, I'm actually picking Kyle Nelson. I just feels like he's the more controlled fighter. I feel like he's going to be able to spread it out over the first couple rounds better. I think he's going to get a second round TKO. I think McKinney's going to be gassed. I think he's going to really push it on him. I think this fight is going to go similar to how Duncan McKinney went. It's just going to be a longer fight. So give me Kyle Nelson to get the TKO late second round when McKinney's gassed. He's all spin out, and Kyle Nelson absolutely had to fight through some stuff, and I think he's going to get a performance bonus here. Let's move on to the next fight. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Yusri Balgari. Now, this one is really interesting. Neither guy has lost in the UFC. Abdul Malik, he's coming off a submission against Antonio Trocoli, who I do not rate that win too highly, even though the dude just took into a decision. But before that, he had a draw in UFC Atlanta, which I was there for. Super bad fight until the last 10 seconds, but whatever. And then before that, it was 2 TKOs and Nick Klein. And what's that dude's face? Dusko Todorovic. Yeah. This fight's very interesting because Yusri's a really good kickboxer. A dude trains with Alex Pereira. He actually fought Alex Pereira a couple times. I think he got knocked out by Alex, but I also think he TKO'd Alex. I could be wrong, though. This fight really is just going to come down to is Yusri can defend the takedowns. I don't think Mansour is going to have anything for him on the feet. And now, if I'm being honest, I think Azamat Bakoyev is a better fighter than Mansour Abdul Malik at this stage in their career. So for that reason, I'm going Yusri Balgari to get a close decision. I think he's going to get taken down early in the first, but work his way back to his feet, build some confidence, land some huge shots, and get a split. Not a split decision, but a unanimous decision. I don't think Abdul Malik's going to chin him. The only really way he can knock him out is with ground and pound. But, yeah, we'll see, though. I mean, Mansour is a physical specimen. The dude's freaking ripped. All right. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Next fight. This is a very intriguing matchup. Julian Juicy J. Arosa versus Larian Douglas. I really like Julian Arosa. He's one of my favorite unranked featherweights. Dude is very entertaining. He's had a bunch of finishes. And he just went to war with Melky Zayel Costa his last fight. Taking him to decision. I do not hold that against him. Before that, he was on 3-fight win streak, submitting Christian Rodriguez and Darren Elkins. And Larian Douglas is making his UFC debut. He's coming off LA in a Contender Series where he absolutely mopped the floor with Cam Teague. I mean, it was a bad knockout. I thought the dude might have died. I think Larian definitely has the power and the capability to chin Julian Arosa, but I don't think he will in this fight. I think Juicy J is going to tune him up on the feet, take him down, jump a ghillie, submit Larian Douglas. I think people are going to be shocked. This is going to be an underdog win. See, he's got 2 subs by Two lost by sub, lost to Shepe Mariscal. Sorry I went off screen there for a second. I just wanted to see if Larian Douglas has ever been submitted. I think Juicy J is going to shock everybody. So get ready. Hop on the Juicy J train while you can. Next fight, featured fight. We got Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. And if I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't care about this fight at all. I do not like either of these dudes. Michael Chiesa, I have not forgiven him for giving me a sparring match in freaking UFC Atlanta against Court McGee. I do not like this dude. I wish I wish Nico Price would chin him, but he's just not. Kiss is going to get the decision. He's going to out-wrestle him. It's pretty clear. I don't think he's going to find the submission. I do think he will be able to out-wrestle him in a super boring fight. You might as well skip this one while you can. Yeah. Oh, no, he got submitted by Jacoby Smith. Nah, yeah, Kiss is going to submit him. Give me first round submission. Yeah. Next fight, we got a rematch. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Now, if my memory serves me right, I believe Grasso won the first fight. Let me see. Did Grasso beat Barber? Yes, Alexa Grasso defeated Macy Barber by unanimous decision. Sorry, I wasn't watching that fight because who cares? I think Alexa Grasso here is going to get a veteran decision. She's going to fight it out. She's going to she's going to have to survive an early storm, but I just think Alexa Grasso is good enough. I don't think Macy Barber is all that just because you beat Karine Silva. I think Grasso is going to be able to defend the takedown and get it done by decision. And now we move to the fight that I really, honestly, am super intrigued by and really one of the few interesting fights on this card. Israel Adesanya versus Joe Body Bags Pyfer. Now, a lot of people are picking Joe Pyfer to win this fight by knockout. It's understandable. We saw Adesanya's chin get cracked by Imavov. I get it. I just think Adesanya is going to be able to weather the early storm against Joe Pyfer. I mean, we saw it in the Jack Hermanson fight, and you know who's a better technical kickboxer than Jack Hermanson? The man who frickin' started it, Israel frickin' Adesanya. I think this man's going to get it done by decision, maybe even a 5th round or 4th round knockout. I just feel like Joe is going to tire. We saw it in his fight against Kelvin Gastelum. The dude slowed down heavily. I think the rounds of 4 and 5 are going to absolutely belong to the style bender. Now, I do think there is a chance that Pyfer cracks him early in the first couple rounds, but I think Adesanya is a good mixed martial artist. I think he's going to get the win here, and I believe he will fight Caio Borralho next. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. Now, this card is pretty rough. I won't lie. I'm not super psyched about it, but I do think there could be a couple good fights, maybe a couple finishes. But overall, I think this is going to be like last week, where it's just a rough card. UFC's kind of in a downhill right now. We basically just got to make it to 327, and then after that, make it to the Della Maddalena protest card in May. So we got a rough month upcoming of UFC, but we just got to get through it. We just got to power through it, and we're going to get some good fights. Hopefully. UFC matchmaking's got to get their crap together. But, yeah. That's going to do it for today's videos. Last week I was feeling very sick, so I apologize for that. But I still won 11-2 on pick. So, you know what? Maybe I wasn't that wrong. All right. So, in this card, I'm actually going to be doing... Sorry it's taking me so long. I shouldn't be apologizing. But I should not be taking this long to wrap up a video. I'm learning as I go, so just stick around. I will be doing a reaction video to this fight night as soon as the event's over, maybe about an hour or two after all my family goes to bed, so I don't sound like a freaking idiot and I can talk out loud. But, yeah. Yep, so expect the reaction video. And then this time around next week, expect the Moicano Duncan card prediction video to come out. That card's going to suck. I would skip that video if I was you. I don't even want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm actually trying to build something here. So, yeah, let's go. I will see you Saturday night or Sunday morning, depending on where you live. So, let's go.